Patriots have rolled through the first part of the season undefeated. Drew Bledsoe is the quarterback for the defending AFC champions, and he has become one of the league's brightest stars. And while the New England Patriots right now are the best in the East, the Denver Broncos are the best in the West. They too are undefeated, with Terrell Davis steaming along, averaging more than 100 yards a game. The Broncos quarterback is headed for the Hall of Fame. But along the way, John Elway continues to break records and rack up wins. He's totally stoked for tonight's battle of the undefeateds.
To be able to play on Monday Night Football and have two undefeated teams, I think, is great for the NFL, and it's great for the fans. And as a player, you can't ask for a better situation.
John Elway leads the Broncos into tonight's game between the NFL's only undefeated. It's the Patriots and the Broncos on ABC's Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football. The Mile High with a kickoff right after this. And thus they signed Scott Bentley, who's a local kid, went to Overland High School here in Denver, and then played college football at Florida State. They tried him out this week, and here he is making his debut tonight. And David Meggett, the ex-New York Giant, back to receive for New England. Mile High is rocking, and here we go. And Bentley's first salvo is a kick taken 3 yards in the end zone by Dave Meggett. Up past the 15 to the 19-yard line. Good coverage by the Bronco kickoff unit. Patrick Jeffers makes the tackle. And now we'll take a look at the New England Patriots. Drew Bledsoe went to Washington State, and he was the first guy chosen in the 1993 draft. 5th year in the league, led him to the Super Bowl last year. Curtis Martin and Keith Byers in the backfield. Jefferson and Terry Glenn healthy again, with Ben Coates, great tight end. Armstrong, Lane, Wohlabaugh, Rucci, and Moss up front. Keith Byers lines up on a wing to the left from the 19-yard line, and they start with Martin on the ground, and Martin picks up 6 out to the 25-yard line. Tackled by Darian Gordon, who came over from the Chargers and has done a great job. Up front, the ex-Chief Neil Smith, the other ex-Chief Keith Traylor, along with Michael Dean Perry and Alfred Williams, who appears to be healthy again. Mobley is an emerging star. Aldridge in the middle, and the veteran Romanowski are the linebackers. Crockett and Gordon are the corners, and they've been great. Braxton in that order, the safeties, veterans and outstanding. The secondary for Denver has been terrific. 2nd down and 4 from the 25-yard line. The fake, and Bledsoe's first pass caught by Keith Byers, who takes it to the 34-yard line, pushed back by John Mobley, and a first down for the Patriots.
Well, the veteran Keith Byers gives New England something extraordinary in versatility from that backfield. He can run the football. He's like another tight end. You don't have to bring a second tight end in to go with a 2 tight end offense, because Byers is so versatile. Good receiver, good runner after he catches the football, and he gets the first down. And I think New England wants to run this football tonight. Denver wants to run the football. It's an old cliche in football, but they feel if they can run it, either one of them can win this football game.
Empty backfield. They had Martin lined up in a slot, and that's Ben Coates making the catch. New England loves to spread the ball around. On the ground, of course, it's all Curtis Martin, but in the air, a lot of different receivers. Bledsoe has hit 9 different receivers for touchdowns this season.
And it's a really smart move for Pete Carroll and his staff, because Drew Bledsoe, it's so easy to get fixated with Ben Coates, the tight end, who seems to always be open. But there are a lot more tools on this football team. Everyone knows what Terry Glenn did last year as a rookie. But get used to that. Ben Coates finds a way to get open nearly every time he runs a pattern.
2nd and 4 on the game's opening drive. Martin cuts it back. Martin past the 50 to the 47. And at the very top, I mentioned that in 2 games over the last 2 years, Martin had carried the ball 13 times for a total of 21 yards. Against the Denver Broncos, that gain alone was 13.
But that was then, and this is now. And we talked about how Denver is having problems playing the run. They are giving up nearly 6 yards a carry through their 5 wins in this early season. There you see, that's not much productivity for Curtis Martin, 1.6. But Denver's having problems stopping the run.
Bledsoe has that pass deflected, and it winds up in the arms of Terry Glenn, who loses the football, recovered by Steve Atwater. The ball was stripped. Michael Dean Perry was able to deflect the pass. Glenn made the catch and then loses the ball. Terry has been hampered with a gimpy ankle, comes back, loses the football. Denver gets it. 3 minutes into the game, the Broncos have the ball. No score. Terry Glenn fumbled. It was caught by John Mobley, and here comes John Elway. Like Bledsoe, Elway, the first guy picked in his draft, 1983 by the Colts, refused to play with the then Baltimore Colts, wound up with Denver, 15th year in the league, and he takes over at the 26-yard line. And this is Terrell Davis in his third year, and Davis hustling out to the 39-yard line in the first down. Tackled by the middle linebacker, Ted Johnson. Terrell Davis, a 6th-round pick in '95. What a gem. Howard Griffith looked like he'd be gone for a month, but he's okay. He starts at blocking back. Smith and McCaffrey outside. Shannon Sharp to tight end. And up front, Tony Jones, Mark Schlereth, Tom Nalen, Brian Habib, and Gary Zimmerman, who had retired after a stellar career, but then came back. And they'd moved him to right tackle. He'd been a left tackle because Tony Jones was already in place on the left side. From the 39-yard line, they give it to Davis. Not much cooking over the left side. Picks up 2, 2nd down and 8. Willie McGinnis missing from the New England defense, and he is such a key part of it. But despite his absence, they have been brilliant. Collins, Wheeler, Henry Thomas, the ex-Viking, and Mike Jones up front. Slade is an emerging star. Johnson in the middle, Collins on the outside, and in the secondary, Ty Law and Jimmy Hitchcock coming into his own at corner. Lawyer Malloy and Willie Clay are the safeties. A defense that's allowed just 10 points a game, 40 points in 4 games. 2nd down and 7. And Elway fleshed out. It's Davis. And so Davis with 2 carries and a reception to the 46. It will be 3rd and 2, tackled by Wheeler.
Well, Davis, a real workhorse. And he is tough. When he hits the line of scrimmage, you saw it a moment ago, it looked like he would pick up no yardage whatsoever. He always seems to get something. He makes something out of nothing. Here he was caught behind the line of scrimmage, breaks it back to the inside, and turns what could have been a losing effort into about a 4-yard pickup.
3rd down now and a short 3 from the 46 on Denver's opening possession. Elway with a roll, throws, caught by Smith, and a 1st down. Needed 3, got 5, 1st down at the 50. Chris Canty, the #1 draft choice out of Kansas State with the coverage.
There's a good look, Frank, at the West Coast offense of Mike Shanahan. That's no different than a handoff. It's a pass play, but it's as safe as a running play when you practice it as often as they do.
It is high percentage. If he's not there, you either run the football for the 1st down or throw it away.
You mean that number 7 guy will take off with the ball?
He still has that in him.
Been known to. 1st down at the 49-yard line. Elway guns it to Ed McCaffrey, and he is tackled just short of the 1st down. Forward progress to the 40. It'll be 2nd down and inches.
The 20th reception for McCaffrey. McCaffrey, by the way, is 6'5". Started out with the Giants, but with the 49ers for a while, and has really emerged as a star here in Denver. But he's big, and he's going against short cornerbacks. Hitchcock is 5'10" at one corner. Ty Law, 5'11" at the other side. A distinct advantage for McCaffrey, who he'll fight you for the football, too. He's a big man that will go in there and battle for it.
3 Patriots waiting to lay a lick on him right there, too. You better be 6'5".
Split back set, 2nd down inches from the 40-yard line, and they give the ball to Terrell Davis, and he takes it to the 38. Davis, who grew up in San Diego, attended the same high school as did Marcus Allen, then matriculated at Long Beach State, initially recruited by George Allen, wound up going to Georgia, but got hurt there, and somehow, some way, drifted all the way down to the 6th round of the draft in '95.
There's Curtis Martin, his counterpart in New England, 3rd-round draft pick, and these are 2 dominating running backs who were taken very late, overlooked in the draft, and they have really emerged as superstars.
Think about that. 195 players were drafted ahead of Terrell Davis.
And 20 running backs.
Yeah.
Play clock goes all the way down, and Elway hands the ball to Davis. And Davis takes it to the 36-yard line, where he's tackled by Henry Thomas.
That was the draft headed off Kajana Carter, Rashaan Salam, Tyrone Wheatley. They were all first-rounders in that draft of 95.
And Terrell Davis really, in all truth, played in a passing attack down at Georgia. But Mike Shanahan looked at some video they saw of him in the Senior Bowl and said, who is this guy?
Yeah, remember Eric Sire was the quarterback there.
Went up to the Browns.
2nd and 8, no score. Halfway through a rapidly moving first quarter. Elway, great protection. Done caught at the 25-yard line by Shannon Sharp. And Sterling's little brother is out of bounds at the 17.
Ooh, and when you have Shannon Sharp with no one around him defensively, you've made a mistake in your defense. Certainly an error there. Shannon Sharp, I mean, he is the passing attack for the Denver Broncos. You have got to have coverage on him. And it better be a cover man, not a linebacker. At that time, nobody was covering him. And not much pressure on Elway. Look at this. Gets away from the linebacker. Ted Johnson all alone and lonesome in the flat.
Jimmy Hitchcock has to drop off his deep outside coverage to come up and make a play on a guy that wasn't his.
That's a mistake.
First down, toss. Davis slips a tackle in the backfield and takes the ball inside the 10 and then fumbles, and it's recovered by Mark Schlereth at the 5-yard line.
Well, Henry Thomas started that off for the Patriots by getting about 5 yards into the Denver backfield. Talk about penetration. There's a good definition of it. One of the quickest defensive tackles in football.
Well, the rare happening with Davis turning loose of the football. He does not fumble the football. He carries it in a crowd all the time, but he protects it really well. You can see he had it covered up. He just took a tremendous shot.
Well, Terry Glenn fumbles, and it goes right to the Denver Broncos to Steve Atwater. Terrell Davis fumbles when it's Denver's turn, and it hops right to one of his own guys.
Mile High Stadium.
Yeah, that's 2 fumbles and a good break for Denver on each of them.
There is a timeout for a measurement. Jerry Markbright.
On the play. Measurement.
Jerry Markbright.
Measurement again.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Patriots in the red zone. The opponents have been into the red zone 9 times this season, and the Patriots have yielded just 1 touchdown.
And they haven't played Denver.
First and goal from the 6. Davis gets about half the yardage necessary as he takes the ball to the 3.
Oh, boy, does he move the pile there?
Isn't that the surge you want to see, Frank, in a short yardage situation? The whole thing just moving towards the goal line.
I think it's the first thing that impressed me with him. First time I saw him in '95 when we were out here in the summer up at our home in Colorado, and they kept talking about this youngster that might become the starter. And I watched him in a couple of preseason games. He has enormous power.
That's called finishing the play, folks. Henry Thomas almost made the tackle, but Denver finished it by moving New England backwards.
Second and goal. Davis has accounted for 33 yards on this drive. Can he get 3 more? Yes, he can. Touchdown.
New England's going to have to go back to the drawing board to stop this running game, or this is going to be a long night for the Patriots.
Davis has killed them in the last 2 meetings between these 2 teams. 2 games that Denver's won by a composite score of 71-11. And here they go 75 yards in 11 plays, and Davis accounts for 35 yards.
Well, what New England needs to do is just go back to what they were doing on their first drive offensively, moving the football down the field. I think that New England showed that we can move the ball against Denver. They'll just have to do it and hold on to it.
Scott Bentley's first extra point attempt is good out of a Tom Ruin hold.
Oh, I bet he's glad that's over with.
And the Broncos with the new in vogue deal here in the Mile High City, the Mile High Salute. They want to be saluting all night long. That's what they hope. 7-0. Good year. Great shot downtown Denver. It's been a spectacular couple of days here in the Mile High City, and a pretty spectacular first Denver drive to lead 7-0 as Bentley kicks off, and it's taken at the 1-yard line by David Meggett. And he gets tripped up at the 18. And again, good coverage. Keith Burns making the tackle for the Broncos. And there is a penalty flag down at the 14-yard line. So we'll get the first call from Jerry Markbright.
Holding number 25, offense on the return, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Larry Wiggum, Dante Scarnecchia, the special teams coach, was on with amusement.
Stop, go, enjoy.
For Saturday right here on ABC.
Oh, there'll be Buckeyes in Happy Valley.
You bet. Bledsoe from the 7-yard line gives the ball to Martin, and he's tackled at the 6. A loss of 1. Alan Aldridge breaks through, 2nd and 11. Monday Night Football from Denver is being brought to you by Sprint, where Monday nights are free and clear.
And Al, down at this corner of the end zone, if Drew Bledsoe wanted to change the play with an audible, he'll never be able to do it. You can hear the roar of the crowd. He couldn't change if he wanted to.
2nd and 11. And that's tipped, and it's the second pass that's been tipped. Keith Traylor got his hand on it, the once and current Bronco who started here, went to Kansas City, and they brought him back.
Talk about the enormous winning percentage the Broncos have here. Dan touched on at the beginning. One of the reasons, the altitude, of course. Teams coming in, and here is the block. Traylor, 6'2", but he leaps pretty well and gets the block. But the other thing, Dan, I think, is this noise. This is a crowd, and this very close. The stadium is right down on the field.
I have been in the huddle on the line of scrimmage at that end of the field, and as an offensive tackle, you have to go on the snap of the football. You cannot even hear your quarterback call. This is a silent snap. And there you see Zephyrus Moss. He starts jump to false start. There's Neil Smith. He's across the line. And even though Zephyrus Moss went, he was enticed by Smith.
3rd down and 6. The Broncos rush 4, and they get a piece of that pass, and so does the official. Might have been Neil Smith getting a hand on it or a finger, and Greg Robinson loves the work of his defensive unit. 4th down and 6, and they'll punt from deep in their own end. Yep.
Irony, Greg Ross.
Neil Smith working against Moss. Moss had him tied up. The only thing he got loose was that right arm and got it up into the air.
Now Tom Tupa, the league's leading punter, and he'll send it skyward to the league's leading punt returner, Darian Gordon, the ex-Charger, who fumbles it and then falls on it to maintain possession at the 48-yard line. So Bledsoe has already had 3 of his passes tipped. His team trails 7-0 with 4:15 left in the first in Denver. Goes unbeaten coming in and leading 7-0. 4:15 to play in the opening quarter. Mile High Stadium, built as a baseball facility in 1948, and they kept expanding it. And right now it holds an excess of 75,000. From the 48-yard line, Elway guns it and incomplete. Smith had stopped Lohr with the coverage on the play. 2nd down.
Little misread between Rod Smith and John Elway there. There's Ty Law on the coverage. And now looking in quickly for the ball, and John Elway anticipated he was going to continue on that drive, and he didn't. And that could have been a pickoff.
Yeah, Law actually had both hands hit the football. That surprised him more than anything else.
That was John's first incomplete pass. Corner blitz, that is picked up, and the pass is dropped. Rod Smith gets bumper card as he loses the football.
Oh, he should have had it.
35-yard line.
He knows he should have had it. Elway read the blitz perfectly. Rod Smith read it perfectly. Elway put the ball exactly where he was supposed to put it.
The blocking was there. They picked up Willie Clay.
Look at this, right in the hands.
I think it's safe to say that Rod Smith would like to start this series over. He broke his pattern off incorrectly last time, and now he has a pass hit him right on the hands that he doesn't corral.
He didn't even come close to catching this one.
I might look elsewhere here on 3rd down. I might go to Shannon Sharp.
Smith, their leading receiver, has caught 22 balls. Pat show blitz again, and here they come with a zone blitz, and Elway's pass is incomplete. That one intended for Willie Green, and so John, after having his first 4 passes all completed, throws 3 incomplete passes, and it's 3 and out.
A rough series there. Willie Green and John Elway were on a different page also. On 3 different passes on that series, John Elway and his receiver were totally out of tune. Now they're talking it over in the sideline. In fact, Willie Green's getting a little lecture.
Now Tom Ruin to punt. Dave Meggett has run back more punts than anybody in the history of the National Football League. And he calls for a fair catch. And he's second all-time in fair catches, and he'll add to that total. As he fair catches it at the 7-yard line, something you're not supposed to do, not inside the 10. 3:57 left in the first. Great rivalries in the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins next week on Monday Night Football.
At brand new Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. I'm anxious to see it.
First down for New England from the 7-yard line. They trail 7-0, and Bledsoe from the goal line has it picked off by Mobley for the touchdown.
Boy, that was not the coverage that Drew read. He did not even see Mobley.
Ben Coates, the tight end, is running a pattern to the middle of the field. Mobley is right there with Coates. He breaks then to the outside of Coates. Bledsoe is screened. And that is about as easy an interception and a touchdown return as a linebacker can have.
Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator for Denver, was a student of Pete Carroll as his defensive coordinator at the Jets. He came up with a beauty here.
You saw Coates break back to the inside. Mobley was kind of screened from Bledsoe. He had a great look at the football, and right now the Patriots are in a monster hole.
Bentley with the point after. Mobley, their #1 pick last year. His second career interception, his first touchdown, 14-0 Denver. Goes to the back of the end zone for the touchback.
Oh, he nailed that.
And Larry Kennan, the offensive coordinator, getting things straight with Bledsoe, who didn't see Mobley at all. And a player of the game right now, the MVP clearly would be John Mobley, who in less than a quarter has forced a fumble, intercepted a pass, and run it in for a touchdown. There he is. We talked about him as one of those emerging stars, second year out of Kutztown. Same school that Andre Reed of the Bills attended.
And a very intelligent football player. This guy started every game last year as a rookie. That is not easily done, to start on opening day as a rookie and play every game, and he played it well.
Now the Patriots with a 2-back set, and out of the eye, Martin goes nowhere. Tackle behind the line of scrimmage by the ebullient Mike Lodish.
It's going to be tough for New England to do, but they're going to have to go back to how they came into this football game, forget they're down by 14, get control of themselves, and the game will come along later. But they need to get themselves together as a team. It's a tough place to do it with all the noise, the hysteria that goes on here, but that's what they've got to do.
Second down and 11. From the 19-yard line. Bledsoe guns it, caught at the 35-yard line by a wide-open Ben Coates. You're looking at the two top tight ends in the American Football Conference, Coates, and on the other side, Shannon Sharp. It's a 16-yard gain.
A good job by the guys up front for the Patriots of giving Drew Bledsoe the time to take a good look at the football field. That was a slow developing pattern. He had a nice look at things downfield. Broncos, hard to imagine that they could allow a guy like Ben Coates to run that open. He's no secret.
First down from the 35-yard line. It's a 5-man rush, and then it's tipped again and incomplete. Tipped by Bill Romanowski. And you had Glenn in the middle of a whole bunch of blue jerseys.
Boy, and Drew Bledsoe sometimes have too much confidence in his arm. He tried to squeeze that in there, and that could have well been picked off. A good coverage on the part of the Broncos, too. They had everyone taken care of downfield. Now look how he comes over the top. He's had 3 or 4 of them blocked. Came up on his toes and almost picked off by Romanowski, a little out of his reach.
But Romanowski was short. Tyrone Braxton was deep. They had Glenn bracketed short and long.
Second and 10 from the 35-yard line. Bledsoe sacked at the 24. The charge led by Ma'a Tanuvasa. They rotate linemen. They've got a great defensive front, and they shored it up with Smith and Traylor coming in, and guys like Tanuvasa coming off the bench.
Third now and a whole bunch, and New England is in desperate need of a player. Here comes Tanuvasa. working up from over in the right side.
That's only the 4th sack yielded by the Patriots this season. 3rd down and 19. They have to get it to the 45 to convert, and there was a whistle, but it's so loud that nobody heard it. Play clock might have gone to 0, and it did.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Make it 3rd and 24.
Oh, that won't get the crowd excited, will it? Thinking they had a hand in that. Again, Larry Kennan trying to... You got to go pretty far down that old scripted sheet there to come up with a play for 3rd and 24. This is not a play you practice a whole lot.
This is called don't turn it over.
Underneath Byers, he'd have to get to the 45, and he's 14 yards shy of that. He's tackled there by Darian Gordon, and New England to punt again. A minute and a half to go in the opening quarter. The Broncos have had the Patriots number, as we mentioned at the very top. 1968 was the last time that the Patriots won a game here. Dan said we hadn't put a man on the moon. Monday Night Football was still a gleam in Roone Arledge's and Pete Rozell's eyes in 1968. Tom Tupa with a wobbly punt, bouncing at the 30-yard line and down at the 25-yard line. And Pete Carroll will watch his defensive unit try to hold here. His team down 14-0. As we present the Home Depot coaches fact, Pete, one of 3 NFL head coaches in the last 50 years to last just 1 season in his first full-time head coaching job, then get another head job. Now, Pete was the head coach in '94 for 1 year at the Jets, and Richie Kotite replaced him. The others were Joe Q. Harrick and Monty Clark. Monty Clark coached 1 year at San Francisco, but then Ed DeBartolo bought the team. Joe Thomas was the general manager. Monty went out and had good success at Detroit. Fair amount of success. First down from the 25-yard line, and Terrell Davis picks up 8 as he takes it up to the 33-yard line. 2nd down and 2.
New England coming with the blitz. Denver blocking it out well. Big pickup by Terrell Davis.
New England better come with something. Picking up 8 yards on first down when you're down 14 scratch is... this is a defense right now that is in need of a break. They need to create a break, or they need Denver to give them one, but somehow, some way, they better get it going here.
There is a whistle because the clock did not start.
It's running. They're running it.
44 seconds, please. 44. Thank you.
Well, Jerry Markwright, our referee, his field mic didn't work the first time when he was trying to direct the timekeeper to set the clock.
Jerry will give you good information.
Game clock running right now. Half a minute to play, and it is 2nd down and a long one. They give it to Davis, and almost automatically he'll get that long one and more as he takes it up to the 38-yard line.
The thing about Terrell Davis that you gotta love is the fact that here's a guy about 203 pounds who runs like he weighs 200.
Broncos looking on, his team in front by a score of 14-0, and Wellington Webb is the mayor here in Denver. So it's a happy owner's box thus far tonight as they look on at Mile High Stadium, a stadium that Pat Bowlen loves in one way, but in another way he's seeking a new facility, and that remains to be seen. I think Pat is trying to remain sanguine about the possibilities of a new facility being built in the next few years here in Denver.
Well, it is certainly from a memory standpoint to think of some of the great games that have been played here, but certainly when you compare Mile High to a lot of the other state-of-the-art stadiums, it's lacking.
Where we were last week in Charlotte, state-of-the-art.
Start the second quarter. It's first down from the 37-yard line, and Elway buys a lot of time, buys a ton of time, then throws into traffic, and it's intercepted at the 29-yard line by Willie Big Play Clay. That's his nickname, and when you're down 14-zip, that's a pretty big early game play. Intended for Rod Smith, and New England has the ball at the Denver 43.
Well, you won't see John Elway throw into that kind of coverage. once in 100 attempts. He had all the time in the world. He was not under pressure, and he just threw it into the coverage. Tried to squeak one in there. Sometimes I think, you start to feel you're just kind of invincible. Bob Smith fighting loose. He was actually held. Willie Clay drops back. Look at the time he has to throw the ball. There are 3 New England Patriots there. John won't like looking at that tomorrow.
Well, we said the Patriots needed a break. Now the question is, are they good enough to capitalize on it?
First down at the Denver 44-yard line. Opening moments of the second quarter. That buys time. Fake to Martin. He guns one for Byers, who's out in front. Touchdown.
Yes, they are.
Oh, we
Yes,
talked
they are.
about his versatility. You can use him as a wide receiver. You can use him as a tight end, a running back, and he puts the Patriots right back in the game.
Keith Byers, the veteran, with Greg Robinson watching his defensive unit give up a bomb early in the second quarter.
Nice play action. Bledsoe comes out, buys himself all the time in the world. He gets a chance to set. And Keith Byers just wide open, way out in front of Darian Gordon as he stretches down the near sideline.
And he
Two
set up
big back-to-back plays by Clay and Bledsoe and Byers.
Adam Vinatieri for the point after. So the Clay interception. And then the Bledsoe to Byers pass. And the lead is halved. The Denver defensive unit goes over what went wrong on the coverage. It's 14-7 after the New England touchdown. Adam Vinatieri kicks off. Good kick. 4 yards into the end zone. Vaughn Hebron, one of the top run back guys in the league, out to the 24-yard line. Well, a lot of publicity this week about the fact this is the latest in the season a Monday Night Football game has featured 2 unbeaten teams. But look at this in the history of the league, not just Monday night, but every day or night. Akron against Buffalo back in 21. Canton against the Chicago Cardinals, 2 5-0 teams. In 1966, Dallas and St. Louis. And the last time we were this deep in the season period was 1973 with 2 unbeaten teams. The Rams went to the Vikings. Each were 6-0. So this is the deepest into the season in 24 years that the NFL has had 2 unbeaten teams face each other. From the 24-yard line, Terrell Davis takes it up to the 30. Gain of 6. It'll be second down and 4. Monday Night Football from Denver is being brought to you by First Brands Corporation, makers of STP Vision Blade. Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute in their search for a cure. And Prudential, bringing strength and stability to America's families through insurance, health care, real estate, and financial services. Keith Byers began his career in '86 as an Eagle, then went to the Dolphins, and now here in New England. Second and 3, Davis again, and making a nice play was Todd Collins, the linebacker.
One thing comes to mind about Keith Byers. He's 255 pounds. That's some pretty good downfield speed he put on that pass pattern, running away from people in the Denver uniform for such a big man. And he's a large guy.
I said earlier, you can use him everywhere, Dan. He actually came off a tight end position, and it probably something they had read into the Denver defense. It was a super call and got them right back into the game.
Third down and 3. Sharp is in motion. Elway guns it, tipped and nearly picked off. It was Collins who got an arm on it, and Henry Thomas nearly intercepted it. So 3 and out for the Broncos. New England's defense stiffens, and they'll get the ball back.
This is the first 3 and out.
They call it a game of inches a lot of times. You're inches short of a first down. Henry Thomas is inches from intercepting this ball. He dives for it. Look at that. Nearly gets to it before it hits the ground. Collins elevated, and Thomas stretched. Almost got it.
Tom ruined the putt. Meggett had to go back, and then he slipped. And it's down to the 19-yard line. Pats have it there. 12:56 to the night game. 400
Times 3 hours and 5 minutes. Figured out.
From the 19-yard line. Curtis Martin. And he breaks one off the right side and gets by Braxton and is forced out of bounds. Steve Atwater bangs him out of bounds. But not until after he picked up that first down. So Frankston, since 1971.
Of course, we used to do the Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays and Sundays. And
I don't think there's any question, Giff, that this makes you the man who's logged more hours in primetime television than anyone in the history of the medium. I don't know anyone who could compete with that.
Might tell you the state of television.
Yeah.
Good point.
From the 39-yard line. Curtis Martin picks up 2 up to the 41-yard line, tackled there by Neil Smith. Well, the good news is you picked up all of that frequent flyer mileage. The bad news is with the restrictions they have, you can't use any of them.
Well, it's been a great trip, and I'm really proud of what's happened, and proud of all the guys we've worked with over the years, too. We have some great guys that move around each week and to bring you Monday Night Football, and we're really proud of what's happened.
Kenny Wolf, our producer down in the truck, the great Craig Janoff directing. We've been together a long time and proud of it.
Second down and 8. Bledsoe. And 8. Drew Bledsoe, like John Elway, the son of a coach.
Both from the state of Washington.
Yeah, tremendous similarities, and we'll talk to Drew. We interviewed him yesterday, and part of that interview will air at halftime tonight, and he talks about John Elway and the fact that he, in effect, idolized John.
He came into tonight with 105 passing rating, and he has not helped that tonight. Denver has had a lot to do with that. Rated second in the National Football League after the 5th week behind Steve Young.
Third down and 8. Bledsoe sacked. And that is Ma'atanovasa with 2.
Michael Dean Perry was the second Bronco on the scene. But a strong start for Tanabasa.
Bledsoe ready to scream "Ma, Ma" right now.
That is just absolutely a no-chance setup for a quarterback. That's almost a whiff up front to get a guy on you that fast.
And no place to dump it off either.
Tom Tupa's kick is a beauty. Only in Mile High. Fielded inside the 5.
Oh, he could have downed
there
it.
by Hebron. He could have downed it, but has to come out and takes it back to the 10-yard line. Darian Gordon.
If the impetus of the football carries it into the end zone, you can down it there for a touchback. And Rick Dennison knows his guy should have done it.
They got away with it.
Get the Cowboys.
And announced today that Danny Cannell will start their game at Arizona next Sunday. Now Elway from the 10-yard line on first down throws. McCaffrey makes the catch and gets cut by Ty Law. Gain of 8. So Darian Gordon fielding what was a 73-yard punt and then running it back out to the 10-yard line. And now Elway connecting here for a gain of 8.
John has a great sense of great quarterbacks that they all have, and that is when the pressure is coming from behind to release that ball just before he's going to be hit. And remarkably cool with it also.
Elway on second down and a long one with McCaffrey out. He was shaken up. They give it to Davis, and he tries to thread his way to the 20-yard line and is a little short. Mike Jones, left end, there to stop him. And McCaffrey will take a moment to get his senses together, along with the trainer, Steve Antonopoulos.
Well, it was a perfectly timed hit by Ty Law, who's one of the most physical, one of the hardest-hitting corners in the NFL, and he timed that perfectly, and I thought it was a nice job by McCaffrey just holding on to the football.
Well, there's 6'5", he has a long way to fall, and he really whacked his head, sort of a whiplash.
Ty Law will put it to you, and another close measurement goes the way of the Denver Broncos.
Well, next Monday, and there it is, Troy Aikman, and he'll be doing some barking, no question about that, as the Cowboys try to regroup and the Skins come off their loss to Philadelphia. Each team 3-2. Cowboys, Redskins, first time ever in the new stadium, Jack Kent Cooke Stadium, Monday Night Football next week. That's Michael Jeffers in motion, number 81, and we got a whistle before the snap.
Well, there was still 1 second left on the play clock. It's like a procedure call of some type against the Broncos.
False start, number 84, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Shannon Sharp. Mike Shanahan in his 3rd year now as the Denver Bronco head coach. Mike, remember, had the opportunity to succeed Dan Reeves in 1993. Passed. Didn't think it was right at that time. Pat Bowlen came back to him in 95 where the opportunity was right, signed a 7-year contract.
And then almost signed Pete Carroll to be his defensive coordinator.
Right. Tried to. From the 15-yard line on 1st and 15. Davis punched up. Yep, Pete fired by the Jets after the 94 season.
Came out here, visited Mike Shanahan on his way to San Francisco to see George Seifert. Both Shanahan and Seifert offered him the job as their respective defensive coordinator, and he opted to take the job in San Francisco.
And the next year, San Francisco was number 1 in the league on defense. And Pete Carroll was a hot prospect again.
Carroll was interviewed by the Rams, but that interview didn't go very well. And there were some nibbles from New Orleans and Detroit. And then New England came a call in when Parcells went to New York. Elway throws, and that's incomplete. And looking for a flag was Willie Green. But Ty Law said that was very much within the law.
Ty Law was looking for one, too, I think.
You touched on it, Dan. He is a very physical cornerback, 5'11", 200 pounds, from Michigan, your alma mater, but he's a lot of confidence, too. He's cocky. He's all over the field, and he's turning into an excellent cornerback. Just didn't get a hand on it, but he was there in a presence and a disturbing one.
Well, the last thing in the world you want is a timid corner, one that's indecisive.
3rd down and 15. They go to a 5-receiver set. And one of those 5 is Rod Smith, and Elway's pass is low. So the New England defense stiffens again, and they'll get the ball back in what should be fairly decent field position.
And Smith was relatively open as he broke across the middle on a slant. And again,
bad pass.
I don't know if John expected him to be closer or if he just misfired, but that pass was woefully short.
Well, he's shaking his head, and he's not shaking it at Rod Smith either, so I think John's just let go of a bad one.
Well, if your job's to get open, Rod Smith was open.
Tom Ruin kicking to Meggett. Beautiful kick.
We're seeing some punch here.
55 yards to the 30-yard line. Meggett cuts back the other way, and he really turned nothing into plenty. A 14-yard run back, tackled by Jeffers. 8:25 to the half. It's Denver by 7.
Do you have trouble driving in the rain? Is the glare unbearable at night? That's why STP created Vision Blade glass treatment. Vision Blade forms an invisible barrier that repels water and virtually eliminates glare. It applies in minutes and lasts for 6 months, so there's no need to reapply over and over. Look, this muddy water sticks to the glass on the untreated side, but with Vision Blade, the dirt and grime sheets away and your view remains clear. See what you've been missing with Vision Blade.
My name is Frank Maddox. I'm a baseball scout for the Seattle Mariners. 244 pounds. He's probably a little hefty. We need somebody else for center field. But there's no way I'm going to Phoenix, man. It's too hot. We got to try to look in the future, and that's a tough thing to do.
I've been vending Coors Light for a long time. It's who I am. At home, it's, hey, beer man, pass the peas. When the mail comes, it says, hey, beer man, you may have won $10 million. Being the beer man's a wonderful thing. People know Frost Brewed Refreshment. They're always happy to see me, and I'm recognized wherever I go.
Hey, beer man.
Hey, bobbinhead doll man. Coors Light! Coors Light!
On 2020 Thursday, look what our cameras caught. Sacred, amazing, startling. Is God really here? They say it's the answer to all their prayers. 2020 Thursday.
I can't believe it. Tanavasa with a couple of sacks tonight, and he's a guy who rotates. He's listed as a second unit defensive tackle behind Michael Dean Perry, but as is the case with so many teams these days with the defensive line, especially in the mile-high altitude, he sees a lot of playing time.
He's been seeing a lot of that time in New England's backfield. A couple of sacks tonight.
He had 3 coming into the game.
First down at the 49-yard line as Bledsoe throws, and it's a pass that goes right through the hands of Sean Jefferson. Second down. Well, the Bronco defense, for the most part tonight, has done a great job. Early on, there were 3 tipped Elway passes. That one by Keith Traylor. That one, Neil Smith. And then this interception by Mobley run in for a touchdown. And they pressured Bledsoe to the extent that Tanavasa has those 2 sacks, one there, one here. So apart from that one breakdown on the pass to Byers, they've been great. Second and 10. Bledsoe going deep, contact, and the pass is thrown out of bounds. Darian Gordon and Sean Jefferson one-on-one.
Well, Jefferson pulled up because he was out of bounds. He's ineligible to come back in and catch the ball.
Well, there was a little contact. He was complaining that Darian Gordon had made the contact past the 5-yard area where he can make that contact. Let's take a look. He's out of bounds at this point. And Darian Gordon's really filled in well since Torrey James went down in preseason. No way.
These two guys
can come in.
They're on a field of their own. And it's not the one everybody else is using.
Well, Gordon has really filled in for Torrey James, who went down with an injury in the preseason. Former San Diego Czar. Done a good job.
Third down and 10. Bledsoe guns one, and it's caught by Jefferson in front of Tim McKyer, the much-traveled defensive back who'd come into the game, and McKyer played him softly, and Jefferson had some room and picks up 19. First down.
And Bledsoe had the time.
Well, that's a real delayed corner blitz. Darian Gordon came in off the corner. The Patriots did a really nice job from a pass protection standpoint. Gave Bledsoe, look at that good look he gets down the field. Passing lane in the middle, wide open.
And when you blitz, you're not supposed to have that much time to look downfield for a receiver. Bledsoe did.
Midway, second quarter, they run a draw. Martin can't get out of the backfield. He's tackled by Mike Lodish. 14-7 Denver, and let's get a report from Lynn Swan. Lynn.
Al, what I'm observing on the sidelines is a great sense of urgency in this ball game. Every play, it seems like they feel like might be the difference in the ball game. Now, we've seen it this year so far in games like Oakland, Kansas City on the last drive to win a ball game. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia chances to win it with a field goal. But now we're seeing it on every play from the beginning of this ball game. Great level of intensity, Al.
Really picked up. Second down and 12 from the 34-yard line. Bledsoe guns it over the middle and incomplete at the 30-yard line. Mobley with the coverage on the play, and the pass was intended for Keith Byers.
And Mobley all over Keith Byers. It was just good coverage downfield. Bledsoe had all the time he needed. And just fine coverage by the secondary of Denver. Bledsoe, no place to put it.
The New England offensive line has really tightened up here in the second quarter after getting overrun a bit in the first quarter and allowing some sacks, some tipped balls. These guys have tightened it up here in quarter number 2.
Well, give them credit. This thing could have really gotten out of hand. They've come back.
Third down and 12 from the 34-yard line. Keep it on the ground. Curtis Martin takes it to the 21-yard line and a first down. Tackled by Atwater.
And boy, did he give a little lesson to that guy right there, John Mobley. He is clean. He is clean and comes up with nothing.
I don't think there's a running back around other than maybe Barry Sanders that will make the first tackler more first tacklers miss.
Hello.
Mobley just caught air. He didn't even touch him.
He didn't even get a fingertip on it.
He has got great moves. He's so quick and he maintains speed while he's making those quick moves.
Mobley will revisit that in his mind a few times tonight.
They have Martin in the slot this time. Bledsoe looks the other way, and he hits Terry Glenn, who set a rookie record last year. Caught 90 balls, but twisted his ankle on opening day, has been sparingly used since, and in fact fumbled earlier tonight.
He tried to come back 2 weeks ago against Chicago, and that was just too early. He had a severely sprained ankle. And for a receiver, they need to be able to cut on either foot. Now, I think he is favoring it. They say he's 100%. If he were 100%, we'd see more of Terry Glenn in the offensive game plan tonight.
Looked like he made a good cut there and got them both down easily. He's certainly on the way back.
2nd and 2 from the 14, and it is Martin. They fake the end around, and Martin takes it to the 12, and that should be enough for a first down. He's tackled there by Steve Atwater.
Steve Atwater's a guy that's been nursing that bad right shoulder. He thinks he's close to being all the way back. It's just, you know, you just can't play in this league without playing nicked. You can't find a guy down on that field that doesn't have something that hurts.
Did not give him a very propitious spot, thus he is a little short of the first down. Bledsoe in the red zone, completing 61% of his passes. The league average, 46%, so he's been hot down deep.
Dangerous man is the big tight end coach.
3rd and a short 1, and they give it to Byers, and he bowling balls his way to the 11-yard line on a first down. The ball came loose, but after he was down.
Byers this time used as a running back. We've seen him as a receiver. We've seen him as a flanked out receiver. Coming out of the backfield, he's done it all here in one half of football.
Well, they're actually going to spot the ball closer to the 12-yard line now. And that will force, again, the change to be brought in.
Whatever they come out of the huddle with, because it's going to be very noisy. This stadium will be rocking.
If they go for it, a play befitting the AFC champions.
Bledsoe will keep it himself, and
great surge.
Picks it the first down at the 10-yard line.
And a good call. You don't have to worry about your tackles hearing the snap number of the guards. You just surge behind the center.
That's Bruce Armstrong, Max Lane, Dave Woolabaugh, Todd Rucci, and Zephyrus Moss. That was an excellent surge up front by the Patriot offensive linemen. They won that battle, and they won it handily.
6'5" and 233 is Drew Bledsoe. He's like a big fullback coming at you.
That's a surge.
Ball at the 10. It's 1st and goal, and it's Martin looking for room. And he'll take it to the 8-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and goal.
Talked about that effectiveness of Bledsoe inside the red zone. One of the reasons is the big tight end. We started to talk about it, Ben Coates. He is massive at 6'5". And they have timed out a lot of things together.
Well, the tweaking they did on their offensive line. There's Steve Sidwell. He's their defensive coordinator. As he formulates how he's going to handle it when they get the ball.
2nd and goal. 4-man rush, and Bledsoe, under pressure, has to throw it out of the end zone. He looks for a flag. He says, Jerry, where's the roughing the passer? Mark Wright says, I've been around for a long time, Drew. That ain't it.
Interesting formation for New England. They had Byers split to the left, and Coates was lined up as a wide receiver way out to the right. That's where Bledsoe wanted to go, but he was covered and just threw it away.
When he landed really awkwardly, he's complaining that Alfred Williams slammed him into the ground on his follow-through.
3rd and goal, 13th play of the drive. Denver leading by 7, 3:21 left in the first half. Mile High shaking as Bledsoe throws, and it's dropped at the 4-yard line by Sean Jefferson. So they go for it on 4th down and make it, but still will have to send in the field goal unit now.
Pass a little behind Jefferson, Frank. You know, it's not the easiest ball to handle. Let's look at it and see.
Well, he's also knowing he's going to have to get it into the end zone. They're going to have to bring the field goal team out. He was interested more in running with the football than making sure he looked it into his hands. He was trying to make a play.
Adam Vinatieri has not missed a kick this year, but most of his field goals have been chip shots, a la this one, 26 yards. Trooper to put it down, and Vinatieri to bang it through. So he's 7 for 7 in field goal attempts this season. And New England draws within 4.
And stop and think. We were looking at a 14-0 ball game. Denver driving. It looked like the route was on, and then John Elway forces one long. Willie Clay comes up with that interception, and whoa, what a different ball game we've had since then.
Well, New England has really settled down too. They were really erratic in that opening drive, and then the second drive when they turned it over, and they've really come back together again. That's a real credit to not to the players too, but to the coaching staff.
It is. I mean, it's an early season litmus test for New England because let's face it, the 4 teams they've beaten have a composite record of 7 and 16. They've had 3 rounds from the overtime win over the Jets. And tonight, I mean, this is the ultimate litmus test at Denver. And to be down 14-0 and be, on the verge of just caving.
Well, and Denver's 5-0 record hasn't exactly come at the hands of vanquishing the best teams in the National Football League. They opened up with that win over Kansas City, but Seattle, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Atlanta since then.
Vinatieri kicks. Hebron will run it out of the end zone. From 5 yards back, he takes it out to the 25-yard line, and Teddy Bruschi makes the tackle. With 3:01 to play in the opening half. John Elway went to school at Stanford, as you all know, and #1 pick in 1983. Father Jack, at one time the Stanford coach, and a lot of talk about how much longer for Elway, but the way John looks, 3, 4, maybe even longer.
I hope so. I'd like to be around. I love to watch him play.
Me too. 5 receiver set. Elway throws, and it is caught by Willie Green, who came over from the Carolina Panthers as a free agent, tackled by Jimmy Hitchcock.
I'd like to watch him do something like that. Pass rush right in his face, still gets it off. 211th NFL game.
Well, that puts it in perspective. Johnny Unitas and Len Dawson played in the same number, and the record is held by Sir Francis Tarkenton in 240.
And as we mentioned at the top, he's won more football games and as a starting quarterback than anybody in the history of this game.
Second down and 4.
5 wides.
And that is caught by McCaffrey at the 37. He's tackled by Ty Long. It's a first down.
Denver can use this 5-wide receiver because Elway, when he doesn't have max protection, but he can move around so easily in that pocket, so comfortable. He reads the pressure, whether he can see it or not, coming from his backside. And he can also still pull that ball down and pick up a lot of yardage with the run.
They're going to let it run down to the 2-minute warning, and I think McCaffrey right now wishes he could catch a ball and
down at the 40-yard line. He's tackled there by Todd Collins.
Hurry up offense. Nobody does it better than John Elway.
And the Broncos have all of their timeouts.
Crowd very respectful, so he can make the calls.
And it's intercepted by Willie Clay again. Clay with 2 interceptions. First down, New England at the 44-yard line, and New England has all of its timeouts.
Hey, John is not going to be happy with this night. He's been careless with the football. He's thrown into coverage. He's thrown a couple he knows he shouldn't have thrown, and he's missed a couple of receivers that have been open. Just sometimes you get so confident that you can get it there with that gun that he's got. And Willie Clay reading him all the way. John's looking.
Well, he's locked
all
on
the way to McCaffrey, and Willie Clay locked onto his eyes, and he was right there. Even the great ones will do it. You get careless instead of looking it off.
That's an interception, though, that could have easily been dropped. That was just great work by Clay.
And New England goes to work. Bledsoe under pressure and just has to heave it away because John Mobley forced the issue.
The crowd's booing. The Broncos are yelling, but he got that ball back line of scrimmage.
The quarterback was out of the pocket. There's no grounding. The quarterback was out of the pocket.
He has to be outside of the tackle on either side of the line of scrimmage.
That's all it takes, and then he has
can
to
throw it away.
Yep.
Mark probably went to check with the other official who had a better view.
There he goes on the move.
Yep. Close, but appeared to be outside the pocket. Second down and 10.
Hey, it's over!
And now Martin to the 44-yard line on a play that doesn't fool anybody. New England has all of its timeouts. But in no hurry. With 1:15 and 3 timeouts, there's not a necessity here to use one at this moment.
I think there'd be a little urgency, though. I mean, now you're down to 1 minute.
Well, you're playing 2 games here, too. You want to score, but you don't want to score too early.
And you got a third down. You want to make sure you can get the first.
But I'd be moving a little quicker than that. You're right,
I think so.
I agree with you.
Well, what they need to do here is convert. That's the most important thing right now because it's third down and 10 from the 44. And they do convert. It's caught at the 29-yard line by Sean Jefferson. Takes a hard hit from Tyrone Braxton. First down, 28-yard line. And Sean gets up, and New England will take a timeout.
But Sean's hurt.
He took a shot on that right shoulder And he was going to stay down, I think, and then he realized the time was a factor. He takes a tremendous shot on his right shoulder. Right there.
Tyrone Braxton came in and gave him the pop. And to the 75,000 strong sitting here in Denver, Colorado, what in the first quarter was unthinkable now is approaching reality, and that might be that the Patriots are going to get back into this football game by either making it a 1-point deficit or maybe even take the lead if they score a touchdown. This is quite a comeback on the part of the New Englanders.
So the halftime report, Chris Berman will be along from New York with halftime highlights. We sat down yesterday with Drew Bledsoe. You get to know the New England quarterback a little better, a guy who has guided his team now back very much into the game. Willie Clay with the interception when the score was 14-0. Then Bledsoe linked with Byers. The next drive resulted in a field goal, and here they are with a chance to, as Dan said, cut it to 1 or take the lead.
And with 2 timeouts, they still have the luxury of being able to run the football if they want to.
From the 28-yard line, they fake the run. Bledsoe's going to go for it all into the end zone, and incomplete. Terry Glenn leaping, and he also had to look at the back line to see where he was and couldn't hold it in.
And Ray Crockett was right there with him. I think Bledsoe, he just kind of was throwing that away. If anyone's going to get it, he's going to get it at the back of the end zone. It'd be his man. But Crockett, good coverage for Broncos.
Well, I think you're right, Frank. It's either going to be a superior catch by his own guy, or it's just going to be second down. And that's a smart pass.
Watch Glenn. He'll take a look, even though he drops it. Where are my feet? Yeah, you got him in.
He looked first, though.
Second down and 10 from the 28-yard line. Heavy rush. Romanowski dumps Bledsoe, and the pass is incomplete. Romanowski came in almost untouched.
Oh, he put a shot on Bledsoe.
Not almost untouched.
He was untouched.
Yeah, he was untouched.
And like shot out of a gun. It was a little delayed blitz.
He split the guard-tackle gap, and Romanowski came in clean. He is what you'd call the hot linebacker. Bledsoe looking to the right. He knows he's got a hot guy to that side. He turned just in time to see Romanowski about 3 feet away.
Fortunately, Byers was there, so he didn't get called for throwing it away.
Third down 10, 28-yard line. Play clock all the way down, and Bledsoe buying time. Screen. Oh, that didn't fool anybody. John Mobley smelled it. Martin made the catch, and he's lucky he still has all of his senses.
You know, we're going to see Mobley in Hawaii this year.
Now you're looking at on a loss. Oh, that's a significant loss on the play, because it moves it back to the 32 from the 28, and it makes it that much harder for Vinatieri to convert a field goal.
Since his best field goal was only 50 yards, the best in college was 51, so he's got a lot of altitude working for him, but he's not within range yet.
Mobley had the luxury there of being locked up one-on-one with Curtis Martin, so he's just sitting there, and that's like a dream come true, where you see the screen folding right in front of you like that, and before the blockers get there, you can time your hit on the running back.
Adam Vinatieri now will have to kick a 49 or 50-yard field goal. We'll see where they'll spot it exactly in a moment.
Again, his best is 50 yards as a pro. He had one at South Dakota State at 51 yards.
I would not have been afraid to run the ball in that possession if I was the Patriots. With 2 timeouts, getting Curtis Martin, they're thinking pass. It's a little hindsight now, but a running play, even if it didn't get you the first down, it still gets you in better field goal position.
And the altitude's going to help here.
Half ends on this play. Chupin is spotted. It'll be a 49-yarder. And Vinatieri with plenty of distance and the accuracy. By far the longest attempt he's had this season. His prior long 34. He bangs it home from 49.
Interceptions, a couple of poorly thrown balls. I think he would be the first to tell you.
Adam Vinatieri to kick off. Juan Hebron back to return it. Vinatieri's kick is a bounding ball that bounces out of bounds, but after it crossed the goal line. A significant difference there, because if you bounce it out at the 1, the ball comes out to the 40. But if you bounce it out a yard in, it comes out to the 20. Touchback.
Well, let's go ahead and examine the numbers from half number 1. What jumps out at you there? Both teams with 2 turnovers. 24 total points scored off of turnovers. Both teams running the ball about the same. The passing edge goes to New England. Only 61 passing yards for Denver. That's way below normal.
Now away from the 20, and they begin with Terrell Davis on the ground. Up to the 32 he goes on the first down. Willie Clay makes the tackle.
Willie Clay is not having a bad ball game so far, is he? A couple of interceptions, some good run support. He's doing everything you expect out of a free safety.
Watch Terrell Davis lower that shoulder, and I think as Lawyer Malloy, who just bounced right off, took a tremendous shot himself, and you touched on it, Dan. He's only 210, but he runs like he's 230 or 240.
He packs a load for a guy that size.
He'll hurt you.
From the 32 on first down, that deep drop and good protection, and an out to McCaffrey, and it's incomplete, and McCaffrey looked like he had Law all over him.
He did.
Law looked like he was trying to arrest him.
He was trying to climb up his back. And they ruled they were both fighting for the football. And no one complained a whole lot about it. Man-for-man coverage, Ty Law 5'11", McCaffrey 6'5". Well, he's got his hands all over it.
You have to wonder how that goes without drawing a flag.
He better not touch him again. It'll be a quick one.
He put both hands on his waist to steady himself when McCaffrey made his break. That makes it a lot easier to play corner.
Can't fight the Law. Second down and 10, and Davis goes next to nowhere.
But the Law won.
Yes, he did.
He got away with a big one. They say justice is blind. I think it was the official on that one.
That's right.
Officials have memories, though. What you want to do is come right back to McCaffrey on something else and get the same kind of a coverage, and then I think you might see a flag.
Of course, if Law got in trouble, he could turn to the lawyer next to him and get some help.
Malloy.
Could be a series. Third down and 10 from the 32-yard line.
Luckily, neither one of them has feet of clay.
Throws wide open is Rod Smith at the 50-yard line. Good move at the 40, taken down at the 38-yard line.
John Elway at his best. The defense had his receivers covered so well. When he started to run, they had to break the coverage, come up, and attempt to stop the run. He pulls up, finds Rod Smith, gets it in there, gets the first down. How many times over the 15 years that we've watched him play, he'll do something like this. Gets out of a heck of a mess back there. Now the coverage breaks down because they have to play him as the runner. And he gets the ball to Rod Smith.
It was a classic zone blitz by New England. They dropped both defensive tackles back into coverage, came off both corners, but Elway beat it with his movement.
Now John with a swing out to Terrell Davis. And he gets taken down by Todd Collins at the 36-yard line after a minimal gain.
Good tackle by Todd Collins, open field against this guy, and Terrell Davis didn't like it. Says, I should need one man out there. Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays for John Elway. They were teammates here for a long time. Then he went off to Texas A&M and came back and has been a fixture here with the Broncos.
Second and 7. Terrell Davis. First down to the 24. Tackled by Willie Clay.
And he hurt Willie Clay.
The problem is,
load.
There's the man New England is missing, Willie McGinnis, their outstanding defensive end / linebacker. He plays that elephant position. But look how open the middle is.
Why the Broncos are number 1 in rushing after the 5th week.
Look
Huge
at that hole in the middle of the Patriots defense.
Davis now 80 yards on the ground, 17 carries. There's number 18. And Davis at the 20, and a flag is thrown.
Face mask all over that, and the flags come flying in. Got him all the way down with it.
When you spin him all the way around,
well, you can hurt him.
Deserving.
That's why they could make the call.
Yeah, that's deserving of the 15-yarder.
And that puts the nose of the football at the 10, and that means it's first down and goal. Opening drive in the Third quarter with the Broncos ahead by a point.
Keep in mind the Broncos field goal kicker, Jason Elam, is in street clothes.
Elway under pressure, throws it away, but here comes the flag. Rod Smith says, where is it?
They're going to get him for throwing it away?
I think they're going to say it was an uncatchable ball and pick up the flag.
Right. The official's looking at the contact and calling the penalty, and then he has to wait and see where the ball winds up.
Right.
And realize that it's not catchable, and that's the case here.
That ball thrown 10 yards out of bounds.
Gary Markwright getting the input.
John now wishing he wouldn't have thrown it away.
They should be saying the ball wound up in Aurora, so it's relatively uncatchable.
Holding. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, that's different than interference. Holding happens prior to the snap, to the ball being thrown. Of course, you got to look at it from Denver's standpoint. You know, Elway wouldn't have had to throw the ball away if his guy in the end zone wouldn't have been interfered with and held. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, right on the goal line, prior to the ball being thrown, I think that's Jimmy Hitchcock all over the Bronco receiver.
First and goal from the 5. Davis.
Hey, it's over!
Inside the 3-yard line, and the second down and goal.
And again, a big surge. Surprised you haven't talked about Gary Zimmerman over that right side. He was a left tackle most of his career, Dan. When he came back September the 9th, decided he could play again. He went to the right tackle, and they've done a great job running the football.
Great story, Mike Shanahan telling us how he stayed with Zimmerman, called him every month, all the way during the offseason when John said he was going to retire. Look at that rating for Elway, 25.7.
Statistically, a bad night, but on the scoreboard they have the lead, and they're trying to extend it as Davis takes it to the 1. Third down and goal.
Stayed with Zimmerman, talked to him. Gary's telling him, Coach, my shoulders just won't allow me to come back. I'm just not healthy enough. Finally, into the season, he says, I think I feel well enough that I can do it. Tony Jones, who they got in a trade with Baltimore, was already set at left tackle. Zimmerman goes over to right tackle, and it's really, really tightened this thing up front for Denver.
Third down and goal. They take the fullback out. So the ace back is Davis. And spread the field, and now an empty backfield. And Elway takes it in himself.
It worked for New England on their drive on a 4th down, and it works for the Broncos. The quarterback sneak for the 6th.
The motion by Terrell Davis was the key, because the motion took the linebacker out of the middle. There was nobody to challenge Elway when he went over the top.
And Davis was pretty close to going forward at the snap, but there's no flag.
In that defensive alignment that the Patriots were using, watch Davis go in motion. Now look in the middle. You see right there, Ted Johnson has to go with. He has to go with Davis. That opens everything up in the middle.
And Bentley kicks the extra point. So the Broncos take the opening kickoff of the second half, march down the field. It's the mile-high salute and an 8-point lead. Run back the kick with Scott Bentley in his NFL debut. Booming this one 3 yards into the end zone. Make it past the 10 and tripped up and tackled up at the 22-yard line, and the flag is down at the 24. Rick Dennison, the Denver special teams coach, Jerry Moore.
For granted, the noise at Mile High Stadium. It so abruptly stops at the end of a play like that sometimes you don't realize how staggering it is.
Aerial photography provided by Goodyear. Look at downtown Denver on a gorgeous autumn night.
That thing is sparkling, and you're right. Look at that blimp. It's flying backwards.
And Bledsoe fumbles on second down, recovers it himself, and it will be third down and 9.
Must be a real headwind up there.
The smell of winter, though, and pretty soon the snow will be covering those mountains and the skis will be on. What a wonderful place to live. Great skiing, maybe the best in the world, just a little west of here. Bledsoe, very uncharacteristic of him. The bobble of ball.
Dave Bullabaugh, the center. Drew Bledsoe.
3rd and 9 from the 12-yard line. And that's caught, but short of the first down up at the 20-yard line, as the catch is made by the tight end Ben Coates, but Bill Romanowski right there to make sure he goes no farther, and it's 4th down.
And the key play in that series, the fumbled exchange. They got some positive yardage on the first play with a run by Curtis Martin, but then that was negated by just a fumbled exchange, the simplest play in football.
Quick look at Darian Gordon. We talked about it earlier. The all-time leader in punt returns with over 14 yards per attempt.
Did you see the average for Tupa? 53 yards.
And this one is in the 50-yard range. In fact, Gordon calls for a fair catch at the 28-yard line. Not very often will you see a fair catch off a 52-yard punt.
Pretty conservative right there. There wasn't a Patriot, rather, within about 7 or 8 yards of Gordon.
CEO of the New England Patriots, longtime season ticket holder who bought the team and then watched his club go to the Super Bowl last year. Looking on tonight, but his team is in arrears here, trailing by 8. Denver has the ball at the 28-yard line on 1st down. Terrell Davis pounds his way for a gain of 9, tackled by Lawyer Malloy.
Denver once again exhibiting that rushing game that had them #1 through the first 5 weeks. And Terrell, the leading rusher in the National Football League. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks. That's unusual numbers for a John Elway night. And he'll be the first to tell you he's not been really on it. A couple of errant throws that were picked off, a couple that he missed.
Meanwhile, Davis closing in on 100, 21 carries for 97, and he's just about to the century figure here as he gets to the 40-yard line, and that's enough for a 1st down. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Budweiser, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste. And the Home Depot, America's home improvement coach. And it's 100 yards for Terrell Davis tonight as you look at the state capitol, the Golden Dome here in Denver. And Davis with 100 yards. That's the 5th time in Denver's 6 games that he has hit triple figures. 1st down as Elway retreats. Elway going deep, and the coverage is good. So good, in fact, it draws a flag.
But against whom?
Hitchcock and Smith tangled.
Ball was underthrown, and Rod Smith trying to come back to it. And he says it's going to go against Hitchcock. Elway just...
Well, the teams were uncertain. They were remaining well back up the field, and Smith is saying, come on down, boys.
Smith was kind of an afterthought for Elway.
There's also a flag down in the offensive backfield back at the 37-yard line.
Rod Smith on a fly
fouls
pattern.
here.
And this is Jimmy Hitchcock on the inside. Had his arm inside, yeah, no question.
Roughing the passer on number 92 defense. That penalty is declined. We have pass interference. Number 31 defense. Automatic 1st down.
2 sizable penalties. The roughing call against Ferrick Collins. But Hitchcock gets the interference for a lot more yardage.
How about 35 or 40?
Oh, that's actually Mike Jones, 96, not 92. And that's really not a whole lot of roughing. But the interference was a whole lot of yards.
Yep. 39, in fact. 1st down at the 21-yard line. Elway rolling, nobody home. 2nd down.
Good coverage, a little play action. Elway rolling to his right, trying to go to number 84, Shannon Sharp. Good coverage by New England. Shannon has been kind of quiet tonight. They've done a good job shutting him down.
But Davis has been noisy. In fact, Floyd Little had held the record of 15 100-yard games in a brilliant career here. And Terrell Davis, in less than 2.5 seasons, has equaled that mark. He's played in 36 regular season games, and 15 times he's hit 100.
He's helped tonight by the fact that Howard Griffith is able to play hurt, his blocking fullback.
And the Bronx take a timeout, 2nd and 10 when we come back in Denver, where the Bronx are ahead by any team in the 90s in the first 4 games, and yet tonight they have 0.
It's interesting, 21. Be that good, considering all the blitzing that we've seen over the past couple of years.
But the Denver offensive line has done the job protecting Elway well, and he throws here, and it's caught by Smith, and Smith is out of bounds at the 14-yard line.
Rod having a discussion with lawyer Malloy. Malloy was I think the second player involved there, and his contact with Smith, maybe a yard or so out of bounds, but how do you pull up?
Again, a good look at Mike Shanahan's West Coast, or his version of the West Coast offense. Going underneath the coverage, high percentage. Just like running the football.
So they turn to Terrell Davis.
Oh, boy.
And he takes it to the 7-yard line.
But that's the luxury that an offensive coordinator has when your running game is going as well as it is. That's not a passing down. Gary Kubiak and Mike Shanahan can just easily go to Terrell Davis.
And Terrell Davis and this offensive line have taken over this game.
And actually a good block at the point of attack by Shannon Sharp. He was working against Ted Ruski, and Sharp not exactly a dominating tight end as a blocker. Steve Sidwell there, the defensive coordinator of the Patriots, trying to come up with something here that'll stop the Broncos. They are moving handily.
1st and goal. Davis slips, down he goes. Tackled by Jones. 2nd down and goal.
Davis saw a little crack to the inside, tried to bring it back, and lost his footing. Doesn't happen very often. Watch, you'll see something to the inside. He'll plant that left foot right there. Loses the footing, and down he goes. And he did have a big opening to the inside.
4:20 left in the 3rd. Boxing get it home here. On 2nd down and goal. Davis. And Terrell Davis to the 2-yard line.
Put a long for him to make up his mind. How about that? How's that for picking a crease and then attacking it?
Ooh, we have a
Sharp is
down. That's Shannon Sharp.
This is the sound of 75,000 people holding their collective breath. Mark Schlereth comes around the corner, gets a good block. There's Shannon Sharp, number 84. He gets the down block, gets a little leg whip in there as well.
Ooh, and
I don't know. Did he get stepped on? Did he?
Pushes off. Now on 3rd down and goal, Elway rolling. And throws high and incomplete into the end zone, intended for Willie Green. And so now the young kicker making his NFL debut, Scott Bentley.
I think Scott was pulling for that pass to be complete.
Yes,
I don't know. Why? Maybe he's getting a chance to showcase himself here a little bit.
In his hometown, he went to Oberlin High School, and he was recruited as not only as a kicker but as a quarterback as well. Played on some great Florida State teams.
That's Jason Elam there in street clothes.
I watched him kick yesterday. I mean, he's got a strong leg. He hit 8 or 10, and then all of a sudden he just went far to the right or the left.
Ooh, 21-yarder. Did somebody get a hand on it?
Sure did.
It was tipped, but it goes through.
It was deflected, but not enough.
Might have got a little help out of it.
Well, they were really rushing things. It was a high snap. They almost didn't get it off before the play clock expired.
Take a look. Did he get a little help out of this?
It actually looks like it's going to be right down the middle. And it almost gets pushed out of there. Ugly, but 3. John Elway, though, wishing he would have led that drive into the end zone.
Good 3, though. The Patriots were within 8. And now they're going to get the work cut out for them.
Still 2 scores, but they need the 2-point conversion.
3:37 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Mike Shanahan, the ill-fated opportunity with the Raiders back in '88 as he was hired by Al Davis. That lasted a season and 4 games. And one more look now at the Willie Green play. And the pass that was high. And the kickoff comes down into the arms of Dave Megan, and he gets wrapped up at the 15-yard line. And Denver special teams doing the job as Steve Rush makes the tackle. Rick Dennison says, way to go.
Dave Megan was questionable during the week with a pulled hamstring. I talked to him before the game. He said, no, he felt fine. But it's been bothering him off and on for several weeks.
Now the Patriots. Important drive late in the 3rd quarter from their own 16-yard line. Pete Carroll's team coming in 4-0 against the 5-0 Broncos, but trailing by 11. Bledsoe under pressure. Going deep for Glenn, who can fly, but the pass is too deep.
And Drew was hit hard.
Oh, he got hammered as he released the ball.
He held it and held it and held it. He had to duck and dodge a little bit to find himself some room to plant and throw. And boy, did he take a shot. Neil Smith had about a 5-yard run at him.
And he knew he was going to get it. He's just one tough guy.
The only good news is that Neil Smith landed on the ground and didn't land on top of Bledsoe to compound that hit.
2nd and 10 from the 16. And that pass is thrown away. It's 3rd down.
Steve Atwater all over Byers coming out of the backfield. They're not going to let him sneak out of there again.
And the pass rush of Denver collapsing that pocket. Drew Bledsoe having to fall backwards. Drew not able to plant, step into the pass. And Greg Robinson would like to see that kind of a pass rush out of his group one more time.
Third and 10 now. 3:16 left in the 3rd. 24-13 Denver.
Oh, and there's a false start by Rucci, the right guard. And the shame of this for the New England Patriots is field position, score, throwing on 1st down and not completing it. It removes Curtis Martin from the ballgame.
Mile High shaking to its erector set foundation right now on 3rd and 15. And that is too deep into double coverage intended for Ben Coates.
All the way back there, Bill Romanowski, he had help.
Atwater.
And a guy arguing.
Atwater, but they knew the man that they would be going to, the big tight end, and they doubled up on him. Good defense. Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator, has done a terrific job. We talked about earlier being a disciple of Pete Carroll, his defensive coordinator, his head coach of the Jets.
And Romanowski, who played his college football at Boston College. Oh, there's a double clutch and out of the end zone.
Safety.
Mike Bartram is
well, they might call a false start. They may dodge a bullet here. If they call that a false start, it won't count.
Full start. Number 86, offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Lucky.
Well, Pete Carroll can't be liking this. This is kind of ugly. Getting his quarterback mauled.
Watch him pick up the ball right there. Now that ends it right there. The play never happened from that point on, luckily for New England. And Tom Tupa, as you can see, running out of real estate.
scrimmage is the 6th.
He can't step out of the back of the end zones. That's why he'll stay at least a yard away from it.
And he's sticking to the most proficient punt returner in the history of the National Football League in Darian Gordon. Wobbler.
What a good-looking punt.
46, Gordon. And he takes it to the New England 46-yard line. With 2:58 remaining in the third quarter. Mario Greer makes the tackle. And Thursday night on ABC. There is the Thursday night primetime schedule. I don't care what year it is or where it is. When you say Cowboys and Redskins, it's exciting.
It's fun. And now an enormous amount of pressure has been placed on New England's defense here, having to yield inside their own territory.
Elway. And that's nearly intercepted, and Willie Clay almost had the hat trick.
And another pass from John Elway, Frank, considerably underthrown.
New England was surprising him, I think, with the kind of coverage they are using a lot of zone. 3-man rush and dropping 6 DBs off, and it's really confusing them. You're right about it. This could have been picked off. I mean, Elway has had a lot of time to throw the football. Trying to get it to Sharp, coming all the way across the field. He had to have plenty of time to sit back there as he made the cross.
2nd and 10. Protection is great. Looking for Smith. And Smith is able to adjust and makes a great catch and takes it to the 1. He made the adjustment on Ty Law. Came back to get it. 1st and goal.
Ty Law was in a sprint with Rod Smith. Elway just hung it up for grabs, and Rod Smith went up and got it.
Frank, I'll guarantee you, with that ball 10 yards away, Ty Law thought he had an interception. He actually had the inside position on Smith. What a sensational effort by Rod Smith to catch this football.
Rod Smith really came on at the end of last year, made Anthony Miller dispensable. But look at that catch. He's only 6 feet tall, but he really went up.
And now it's 1st and goal from the 1. They give it to TD, and that's a TD.
A lot of hugs on the sideline for Rod Smith, who made a great play. You're right, Dan. Ty Law thought he had great position on it.
And he did.
Except that Rod Smith went up and got it.
Give Smith all the credit in the world.
Bentley for the point after. Denver's 3 possessions in this half. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. And for Terrell Davis, that's his 6th touchdown of the season, tying him with Minnesota's Chris Carter and Pittsburgh's Cordell Stewart for most touchdowns this season.
I think you saw the look of disgust and dismay on the face of Pete Carroll. He had the right defense called. He had his guy. Look at that position. It's just that Smith able to react to it. A late face mask there by Ty Law.
Hard to call, though.
The damage by that point in time already done.
Well, I'll tell you, the Denver running game makes all this happen. I mean, you have to be thinking, stop the run. Well, both had hands on the face mask. And the Denver has been able to run that ball all night long, and it really makes it tough to play defense. The passing game really opens up.
And then after that outstanding catch by Smith, pretty easy. Pretty easy. Tony Jones and Mark Schlereth and Tom Nalen, Brian Habib, Gary Zimmerman, the front 5 of the Denver Broncos really doing their work tonight in the running game.
Bentley puts it into the end zone where Meggett will come out with it. And little Dave up to the 26-yard line. With a minute and 49 seconds remaining, and the Broncos on top by a score of 31-13. Denver's average margin of victory, 16 points this season, so they have barely been tested.
Well, New England's was higher than that, wasn't it?
Yeah, at 130 points for and 40 against. 90 divided by 4 is 22.5.
Right.
I think New England only given up, what, 10 points on average? Something had to give tonight.
From the 25-yard line, this is Curtis Martin for a gain of 2 to the 27. Keith Traylor makes the tackle.
A little run attempt, just an attempt to keep the Denver defense honest, slow down the pass rush. Bledsoe has been under enormous pressure here in the second half. John Elway in his 15th year.
Bledsoe on 2nd and 8 throws, and that's a nice catch made by Sean Jefferson. Stays in bounds up at the 37. Tackled by Atwood, a first down.
How's that for a reaction by Jefferson? Looking for a pass to the inside. It's clear to the out. He spins all the way around and snags it.
As a consequence, gets the first down.
Watch this by Jefferson. Whoop, back the other way and keeps that ball off the ground. That's as pretty a catch as you'll see.
Former San Diego Chargers put up some good numbers now with New England.
Great look at it, guys.
Big part of their offense a year ago, once again this year.
Bledsoe on first down, and that is caught by Byers.
Bledsoe took a shot, looked like right in the face.
John Mobley is the guy who came blitzing in.
Did he get hit right in the helmet with that? That was quite a shot. Drew bounces right up. Don't say this guy isn't tough. That's a uncontested run to the quarterback by Mobley.
Better look at it there.
And Mobley did a real nice job of pulling up on Bledsoe. He could have hit him a lot harder than that.
End of 3. Broncos lead at 31-13. Monday Night Football. An 18-point Bronco lead. And 2nd down and 7 for the New England Patriots from their own 39-yard line as the catch is made for a first down near midfield, and it's hauled in there by Troy Brown. 5th year out of Marshall, and still down on the ground is the cornerback, Ray Crockett. So there's an injury timeout here early in the 4th. Good year, Mile High Stadium in Denver. Place opened in 1948. They just kept expanding it, and more games have been played in this stadium than any other stadium currently in use in the National Football League. Drew Bledsoe from the 50.
Oh, he's wide open. Terry Glenn.
Deep, and he can't hit him. And Terry Glenn was open. He was loose, and they couldn't connect.
Well, Ray Crockett had been shaken up. He's on the bench. He's at the left corner position. They came right back and went with Terry Glenn, split to the right, brought him all the way across the field, and he was wide open. There's a look at Crockett. They're checking him out on the bench. Boy, and Terry, he was no one within 10 yards of him.
2nd and 10 now from the 50-yard line, and they go to the ground, and they give it to Curtis Martin, and he gets bounced down at the 44 by Neil Smith. And a word from the field, Lynn Swan. Lynn.
You know, Al, I have to believe Terry Glenn, if he was in game condition, might have gotten to that ball, might have made a couple of other catches. But, you know, since he's had that ankle injury, he only came back for the Patriots in the last ball game. He is not in game shape. During the pregame warm-up, he told me he was having a very hard time catching his breath then. So when they need him most in the 4th quarter, he doesn't really have it all there, Al.
All right, Lenny was hurt on opening day, then he was on the bench for 2 games, played sparingly last week, and he's been in and out tonight. 3rd down and 5, and that's incomplete, intended for Troy Brown. Now 4th down and 5 for New England.
And down 31-13, I don't think it's going to surprise anyone what they're going to do. They're going to go, they bring Byers back in. You have Byers and Coates in the same backfield. You have some pretty fine clutch receiving.
New England tonight 1 for 1 on 4th. They went deep in New England territory, or in Denver territory, and Denver's going to take a defensive timeout here. to a line, but they were unable to cash in the last time they converted the season and gave way to Rick Meyer, who's back as the starter for the Bears against the Packers. And the so-called trading deadline tomorrow at 4 Eastern time, and that's sort of a kind of a bogus deal these days, and salary cap situation and error and all of that. But anyway, officially the trading deadline tomorrow as the pass is knocked down on 4th down, and a flag comes down.
2 flags.
Romanowski with a coverage on Ben Coates.
I think early coverage. Premature coverage.
Trying to get the first down to Coates, and Romanowski holds him actually beyond, bangs him around past the 5-yard zone. And
well, Coates, using his size, initiates some contact that, bumps him and pushes off a little bit. But you're right, the snagging of the jersey by Romanowski.
And then he interfered with him.
Yeah.
He had it all.
It just gets too obvious when you see a jersey get pulled. That's too easy to spot for an official.
First down at the 40-yard line. Drew Bledsoe throws, and that is caught by Curtis Martin, who takes it to the 33-yard line. Vital drive for New England. They have to cash in. They went for it on 4th down. Beneficiary of the penalty, and now down by 18 on the move, 2nd down and 3. In the American League Division Series tonight at Cleveland, the Indians have defeated the Yankees, and it's Cleveland moving on to face the Orioles in the American League Championship Series. 2nd and 2, and they run a reverse, and this is Brown, and he almost gets tackled by Williams. A flag goes down, and now Williams does wind up taking him to the turf in New England territory.
However, fooled absolutely no one to begin with.
And they're actually, I believe, going to call Drew Bledsoe for holding.
Illegal block on number 11. Penalty is declined.
Drew Bledsoe came in and hit Alfred Williams from behind. He didn't hold him. He hit him from behind.
Well, the loss is all the way back to inside New England's territory. But look, top of your screen, there is Bledsoe doing the holding on Alfred Williams.
Well, first of all, it was just outstanding technique by Alfred Williams, who went upfield, held his ground, and killed the play right from the very beginning.
And probably killed the drive. They went from 2nd and 2 to 3rd and 20. 18-yard loss on the first rush of Brown's career. Dumped off over the middle, caught by Martin, but he goes next to nowhere, only to the 44, and they're 14 yards shy of the first down. In a situation where instead of going for it, at least they're going to send in for the moment the punting unit. Tom Tupa, who's the punter, is also a quarterback of some renown, so here's a guy who can always pull off a fake.
Well, that's, of course, not lost on the special teams
Something tells me
unit of Denver. I think they'll be looking for that.
Rick Dennison, I'm sure, is screaming that into his guys. Watch for this.
4th and 14 from the 44-yard line. And the kick floats into the end zone, so it will come out to the 20-yard line. And only a 24 net. Broncos from the 20-yard line, and it's Terrell Davis, who's already had a huge night, and it's a doubly huge night now as he is out of bounds at the 46-yard line of New England. Lawyer Malloy runs him out.
Boy, it's not supposed to be that easy to get around the corner. A serious breakdown in New England's contained.
Somehow, Terrell Davis always seems to be able to rip off a big one in almost every game he plays, or a couple of them. This time, this was designed to go off tackle. He took it to the outside, no containment whatsoever. Terrell Davis not with blazing speed, but he has a good quickness. Turns it on down the sidelines and gets into New England territory.
Broncos are going to have to take a timeout. There's no way they're going to get a play off before the play clock expires.
3rd and last charge timeout, Denver. 3rd and last.
That's about the only bad news for the Broncos at this point. Up by 18. father, Malibu Kelly Hayes, actually a resident of Aspen, says that's the hip and trendy place to go in Denver. Is that correct, sir? Here is John Elway now on first down after the timeout, throwing incomplete, intended for Rod Smith, but they draw a flag. And Jimmy Hitchcock said, get out of here.
Well, Jimmy Hitchcock is a guy who found his way into Bill Parcells' doghouse last year. Got benched for the last 5 games of the season. And that just looks like he's working his way towards the football right along with Rod Smith.
Just worked
it a little early.
31 defense. Automatic first down.
Jimmy trying to get an explanation from the field judge about.
He was making a play on the ball, and collision happened before the ball got there.
...21-yard penalty, first down now from the 25-yard line. Here they come on the blitz. Davis picks up play, and that enables Elway to get some time, but nobody's open, so it's second down and 10. Second and 10, and mentioned a couple of minutes ago that the Cleveland Indians have advanced when the American League divisional playoff. They were down 2 games to 1 and won yesterday and won tonight 4-3. Young Jared Wright picked up the win, and so it's Cleveland against Baltimore in the American and Florida and Atlanta in the National.
I imagine things were a little wild at Jacobs Field tonight.
Very.
A little quiet on Broadway.
Second and 10 from the 25.
Movement over the left side.
Tony Jones was on his way down into his 3-point stance at the snap of the football.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Thoroughly confused. Everybody else is going, and you're just getting set.
Give us a chance to pay our respects and send our condolences to the family of Dave Marr. Dave, one of the really good people, a great golf announcer for over 20 years here at ABC, and one of the really fun people, to his wife Tally and all of his family and all the people that love him. We send our condolences. And if you want to pay tribute to David, you can send a donation to the U.S. Junior Golf Association in his memory. Dave Marr, one of the great people.
All class. As John Elway gets taken down, and sack will be credited to Henry Thomas. And that's New England's first sack of the night, a team that had 21 in 4 games coming in.
And 5 in their last game against Chicago. This offensive line for Denver has done a terrific job tonight.
Boy, that time the double team, Habib and Neyland, got split by Henry Thomas, who, even though they're in a trailing position, hasn't quit playing. Of course, I don't think Henry Thomas knows how to turn off that motor of his.
5 wides for Denver. They can do it because of the mobility of John Elway.
Third down and 23. Elway throws, and that is caught by Willie Green. He's out of bounds at the 30-yard line, and well, they're going to go with the young field goal kicker. Scott Bentley will come in and try to dazzle the home folks.
Well, this is a field goal. This is a field goal, though, guys. If Bentley makes this, he's going to be released probably tomorrow by the Denver Broncos. If he makes this, this is a nice little audition and a resume to take with him.
Well, he's a guy who actually was released by Arizona, and they're having some problems right now with Kevin Butler after yesterday, but at least he didn't hit the right note on that audition.
Well, maybe he hopes they went to bed.
As he takes it up to the 39, and Pat Bowlen looking on his team, and there's no question right now, gents, that they are the best team in the American Football Conference. I think they're proving it with their record and what they did last year, but you know, the storyline in this town will always be, until they win it, the Super Bowl. You know, you can do whatever you can do during the regular season and work your way through the playoffs, but that's their burden.
That took this team over 1984. Been to those 3 Super Bowls. Interesting enough, both owners have been to a Super Bowl. Bob Kraft went last year. They lost a Super Bowl. Both quarterbacks have been there. A lot of similarities, but not tonight in performance.
Davis.
I thought the Broncos were very deferential leading into tonight's game in giving the Patriots their due. that they were the AFC champions, that they represented the conference in the Super Bowl last year. You know, the guys were saying, hey, look, we were 13-3, but we blew it. We got beat by Jacksonville. We got beat by Jacksonville here on our home stadium. And you know what? We shouldn't talk anymore about how good we are. This is a team, I think, on a mission to prove something. That Jacksonville loss last year is not the defining moment of the quality of this football team.
New England takes a timeout. One of the subplots, especially in New England last year, a lot of you have seen the clip. If you haven't, we can roll it in with Shannon Sharp after New England had gone in, or Denver had gone to New England and just blown them away.
Calling for the National Guard.
Yeah, the stands are very close to the bench, and here's what Shannon had to say. It was pretty funny.
I've called the president. President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots. So call the dogs off. Send the National Guard, please. They need emergency help. Please help these folks. They're coming. Help is on the way. Help is on the way.
Well, I don't care. That was great. Hysterical.
Oh, yes. People in New England have been laughing about it for the last year.
Second and the one thing about Sharp, he's got a wonderful sense of humor, and he did apologize. To his buddies on the Patriots. Elway going deep, and it's caught by Smith, and he gets tackled at the 21-yard line. So they go deep on third down, and Elway connects with Rod Smith.
Well, he did it on Law. Now he does it on Hitchcock.
Exactly right. What a wonderful example of a receiver going up and getting the football. Lynn Swann, does this look familiar?
Oh, I'll tell you, it looks very familiar. You can tell when he goes up for that pass that he believes that ball belongs to him. The final minutes of this ball game, he wants to make the catch.
Oh, what do you know about it?
Just a little bit here and there.
Yeah, he's about the same size as you, Lynn. 6 feet, 195 pounds.
He's tougher than me.
Oh, right.
21.
Right.
Uh-oh. Speaking of tough.
Swan would have made that catch over the middle.
Earlier this year against
Where do you get a jacket like that? How come Swanee gets a jacket? We don't have jackets
Swanee,
like that.
is that company issue?
It's not company issue, but I have resources. I'll get you guys one.
No, seriously.
You promised to wear them.
What's on the back of it?
We've never even seen that.
What's on the back of it? What's it say on the back? Whoa.
Hey, I'm a loyal guy.
Swanee, how does he get... Kenny Wolf, how can this happen? Oh, I know. Too many scrambled eggs. That's the problem.
He brings home the bacon. That's it. Second down and 3. From the 15-yard line. Terrell Davis
stopped for one of the few times. Started to say earlier, Terrell's high for the season, 215 yards against Cincinnati. And he's getting up there in astronomical numbers now. I think he might be coming out for the night. 171 yards for Terrell. I think it's time they bring him out, give him a little breather.
If this crowd sensed that was the last time, they would be on their feet.
32 carries.
Came into the
career best from a year ago, and that was against the Patriots.
Came into the game averaging 5.1 a carry. What was he, about 20 yards off the NFL lead? Now well in front now.
Right away, John. Get rid of it.
And he does, and we fourth down, and it'll give Bentley another chance for a field goal.
Had a lot of company out there in the form of Todd Collins.
Realize that Terrell Davis is close to 800 yards. What is he? He's around 675 through 6 games. So get your old calculator going there, and he's on his. He's putting the old nubbins on a 2,000-yard season at this pace.
He's extrapolating there, and what have we got? Go to work on it, Steve.
This is a 33-yard attempt, and Bentley just does boot it through inside the right upright.
Jason Elam gives his one-night stand partner a hand.
Yeah, I think my job's safe.
Yeah.
Never know about those hip flexors, though.
The quick math from our crack crew down the truck says that Terrell Davis is on pace for a 2,069-yard season if he was to keep hammering away like this. This is some start for this third-year running back from the Bulldogs of Georgia.
Well, what it does to a team with a good passing offense with John Elway, what it does to their offense. When you can run the football like that, your passing game is enhanced so much.
Well, the record is Eric Dickerson in 1984 with 2,105 yards. So Davis is on a pace right now. It will get him very, very close.
He was the AFC Offensive Player of the Month for the month of September, and not a bad start to October, is it?
He'd win the balloting right now.
Number 22, David Meggett, and number 29, Dirk Coles.
Bentley to the 9-yard line with Dave Meggett. Tackled up at the 23-yard line. For the big week of football next Sunday, and you can start it off on ESPN with NFL Countdown.
Very convenient. 39 total yards for the Patriots here in the second half.
From the 25, Bledsoe throws. That's caught by Vincent Frisbee. Out of bounds, up near the 30-yard line.
It's interesting. That's kind of a turnaround. The Patriots outgained Denver over the first half. Denver just has taken control of this game here in the second half. They came out with that 5.5-minute opening drive for 7 points, and they've never looked back.
2nd and 5. The Broncos with a win would go to 6-0. They'd be 2 up on Kansas City in the AFC West. Meanwhile, New England at 4-1 would only be a half game in front of the Jets in the East. It's a wobbly duck, but it's caught by Ben Coates, who takes it to the Denver 37-yard line. First down. John Mobley back there to stop him. And Bledsoe conserving the clock after a 33-yard game, going without a huddle.
Denver dropping off a little bit with a commanding lead, and Coates with another opportunity to catch underneath. But they pretty much shut him down.
Martin.
Not to mention Martin.
Yeah, there's a guy that you know New England was counting on to be a much bigger part of this ball game. You know, really, he couldn't get untracked against the Chicago Bears, their game of 2 weeks ago. He broke a 70-yard run, but what was it before that? He had like 13 carries for 9 yards. Chicago being very aggressive at the line of scrimmage.
Tonight, 15 carries for 66, and a Bledsoe sack. It is Ma'atanu Vasa.
Is that 3?
That's the hat trick.
And nobody better ever question Drew Bledsoe's toughness. When you watch that Chicago game of a couple weeks ago, he was pounded on by the Bears over and over again. He's taken his share of big hits tonight, and there he is.
I've never seen a team blitz as much as the Bears did against any given team.
Almost every down.
Almost every down, if not every down. One of the reasons Terry Glenn was able to break off that big 70-yarder.
They made Buddy Ryan look like he played the prevent.
Of course, those of you who are cynics in our audience also realize the Bears are 0-6.
Who dat going to be them cynics?
Well, I think they just went and decided this is the only way we can win this game, and we're going to come from every angle.
Yeah, who dat won?
That's not that way.
4th down and 3.
Who did that big guy with the mustache?
And that's caught for a first down. Back-to-back catches by Lovett Purnell, the other tight end. A flag is down at the 18-yard line.
Our friends over at TNT, Abasano.
It could be the title of a song.
Love it or leave it. Lyle. He did.
Penalties tonight, just another nail in the Pats' coffin. 117 yards in penalties. As Bledsoe,
watch out, Drew.
has to dump it off. And Alfred Williams escorts him over to the Denver bench.
Alfred Williams getting there just a fraction late, or he would have spiked him. Drew Bledsoe has had a tough night. He's been sacked several times, but he has been hit many more times.
Down on the field before the game, talking to Billy Thompson, one of the great defensive backs of Bronco history. He was reminiscing about just how hard it is to win at this stadium. Also, some linebacker named Tom Jackson
Tommy was having fun, wasn't he? He was everywhere. 41-6. That's a terrible rating for a quarterback. If Elway, and he will win this game, it'll be the lowest rating he's had in a game he's won in 10 years. If you got a running back that runs for 140 yards, you're going to more than likely win a football game.
Vaughn Hebron here, taking over at running back.
It would be hard to lose a game considering the night Terrell Davis had.
An outstanding play by their defensive football team. This is a high-powered New England offense. It's been held to 13 points tonight.
So the Patriots will regroup. They'll fly home tonight. Coaches go right to work tomorrow. Sunday, they've got the Bills in Foxborough. Denver with a week off. Hebron. And dragged down by Jimmy Hitchcock as we come to the 2-minute warning.
Has traveled Oakland and then at Buffalo. It gets a little rough for them.
Monday Night Football is always produced by the great Ken Wolf and directed by our man Craig Janoff. Joey Chavo, again, without a knuckle job at the console this year. Associate producer is Ben Harvey. Jaime Bravo, our associate director. Ed McKenna, Claude Phipps, and Hal Schmitz making sure the sights and sounds go out in full clarity. Chris Pfeiffer and Bill Bolin, the assistants to the producer. Mark Ameno, Brian McGarry are on the computer stats. Steve Hurt can't do it without our man George Hill, our statistician, and Malibu Kelly Hayes, the spotting. 2 minutes to go. Broncos trying to run out the clock, and it's Vaughn Hebron padding his stats a little bit to the 38-yard line where he's tackled by Jimmy Hitchcock. So Terrell Davis done for the night. Davis winds up with 171 yards. In his battle with Curtis Martin, Martin with just 66 yards. Elway has, well, a slightly better night than Bledsoe, I suppose, even though their stats were vaguely similar and their pass ratings about similar.
Well, it really is a wonderful example, fellas, of how much the Denver Broncos have going for them when they play here at Mile High, that they are able to win so convincingly when their main man, John Elway, is just not even average.
No.
They have a lot of tools.
Terrible night for John. I think he'll tell you right away that it was not his night. With number 30, it was his night. And that offensive line that opened the holes.
Denver will be 6-0 for the third time in the history of the franchise. The other two times were 1977 and 1986, and in each instance, they went to the Super Bowl. Once under Red Miller, once under Dan Reeves, and lost both games, of course. 0-4 in Super Bowls are the Bronx, but right now they are the only undefeated team in the National Football League.
Well, last year at this time, the Denver Broncos were the best team in the AFC, and the Patriots went to the Super Bowl. New England knows that. A lot of football yet to be played here in 1997.
And I think when you look back in December, the players on New England, both these teams are going to go to the playoffs, but somebody is going to get the home field advantage, and that might have been what they were playing for tonight.
Well, Denver certainly has a leg up in that regard.
Broncos win it by a score of 34-13, and we'll wrap it up from Denver after this.
Tonight, 32 carries, 171 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. But, you know, I asked for that. It was good work. It was definitely good work. The line did a great job today. Howard Gifford played, which was uplifting for me because I think he was going to play all week. His knee was bummed. He came in and did an excellent job.
Now, you seem to have the Patriots number. You had a big game against them last year, another one this year. What is it about the Patriots if you run so well, this team can dominate them on the ground?
You know, I think it might be attitude. I think when our offense goes out there, I think we have an attitude that we can dominate any team. Why the Patriots, I don't know. I just seem to have pretty good games against them.
Well, Terrell, I know it's an attitude you want to take forward. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lance.
Al?
All right, thank you, Lynn. We'll see the Broncos twice more on Monday Night Football later this year. Here against Oakland in November, and then at San Francisco, and we're shaping up as a pretty terrific game in December. Next week, we'll be in Washington.
14-13.
halftime lead and a dominating second half performance as they go out and score 20 points, kept the New England high-powered offense off the field, and they win the night 34-13. Mike Shanahan's on with the KOA radio right now. I'm waiting around for him. Hey, let's get Rod to come over here. John's over here. Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. This is a big win.
I'll tell you, a very big win. 14-13, you're at the half. I don't know what adjustments you made, but you dominated that second half.
Yeah, we did. We got a little. It came out real easy that first quarter, and Mobley put it up 14-0, and they did a good job. They're a good job defensively, and we just started attacking a little bit more that second half, going deep because they were jumping over everything we had short, and so then we just started going deep, and Rod made some great plays outside, and we made some big plays.
Did Rod remind you a little bit on those two deep throws of Steve Watson, the way he went up and got it, the way the Blade used to?
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, I tell you what, and that's a great matchup. Anytime you got a guy like Eddie and him that are big receivers, and the way they were jumping us underneath to put that ball up and watch Rod go up and get us, and it's a lot of fun.
I know you're taking this one round at a time, but when you win tonight against the caliber of opponent that you do, does it mean maybe a little more than some of the other ones?
Sure it does. I mean, especially when they're coming in, they're undefeated. They went to the Super Bowl last year, and they're a good football team. So, I mean, this means a lot now that we go into the bye week 6-0, and it's nice to be 6-0 going to that bye week, and we're looking forward to the next 10.
John, great job. Thanks a lot.
You bet.
John Elway. Mike Shanahan shaking hands here with John. Hey, Mike, congratulations. We're live.
Thanks, Ron.
At halftime, it's 14-13. What did you say? Because your football team came out and just dominated the football game.
Well, we played good in that first quarter, and we had lapses on offense and defense in that second quarter. And we just talked about staying together. We went over the game plan and on both sides of the football, things we had to do a little bit better, and we really played well in all three phases.
You did a lot of things well. You're right in all three phases. I thought one of the keys was the pressure you were able to get on Bledsoe, especially up the middle.
Our defense did an excellent job. Our defensive tackles as well as our defensive ends. That's what you have to do against an excellent offensive football team. So I was very proud. Anytime you have adversity like that, especially on a Monday night game, you're not playing well in the second quarter. And for a group to come together like they did really says a lot about their character.
The other thing you do is you just have so many ways to beat people on offense. If it's not Terrell Davis, it's Rod Smith. You just have so many weapons.
Well, what they did is they came up really tough and bump and run. And at the beginning of the season, people didn't say we had any wide receivers, so maybe they'll take it back.
Mike, congratulations on a great job.
Thanks, Ron.
Mike Shanahan. Hey, Rod Smith is here, one of the many heroes. Rod, congratulations on a great night.
Thanks a lot. It was fun.
The 46-yarder you caught down the sidelines to set up the touchdown. Tell me.
Just doing my job. Just having fun, doing my job.
Do you remember a guy named Steve Watson that used to play here?
Heard about him.
He used to go up over guys when two guys were fighting for the ball. He'd go up over guys, and you reminded me of him tonight.
I just told John that if he throws a ball, he's not going to catch it. That's the thing. He's not going to catch it. I don't care if I have to pass interference him or whatever. He's not going to catch the ball. And I got a good position on it and got the chance to out-jump him.
What went on at halftime? I mean, you're clinging to a one-point lead. They're giving you all you want, and you went out in the second half and just dominated the game.
It's just a matter of coaches, realizing what they were doing and changing it up. We ran a lot different game plan, the second half than we did in the first half. They had a good game plan for what we were running in the first half, and we just changed it up. We got so many weapons, so many guys. You can't stop them all, Sure. It's going to be hard to stop them all.
All the games count the same, and you're 6-0, and you're taking, as you say, one round at a time. But how much does it mean when you beat a caliber of opponent like that out here the way you beat them?
I mean, it's no matter who it is, we want to dominate the game, no matter who it is. We just worry about round 7. I mean, that's what we do. We just get a game plan together, coach put us out there and let us go, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Was this closer to a perfect game tonight?
No, it was better. It was better. I mean, we struggled in the second quarter, offensively, and we realized that we kept our defense on the field, and we don't usually like to do that, but we regroup. That's a sign of a good team.
Rod, great job. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
You haven't gotten in the ball much in the second quarter.
Well, we didn't play the way we usually play, and we just had to come back. Coaches put us in a better position to win a game.
We're going to have to start calling you Mr. Monday Night. Last year against Oakland, the winning touchdown catch. Tonight, big plays all over the place.
It don't matter when we play. I just want to make plays, and, I was proud of my blocking. I caught some good balls, too, but I was proud of the way I was blocking and trying to spring Terrell for the long run. That's what I like.
Rod, how about all those people that said you haven't beaten anybody yet? Now you beat somebody.
Who cares? We play who they put on the schedule. They don't like who they put on the schedule, change it.
Well, we're going to change it next week with a bye week, and you go into it the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. It's feeling great. We got a chance to get people healed up and, come back strong.
Old rivals, the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders are ready to do battle. A rivalry that dates back to the old AFL days, 1960. the former Raiders head coach. In fact, he's never lost against his old team. He says Al Davis still owes him money. Game's underway. The unbeaten Broncos with Jason Elam kicking off. And it's taken by Desmond Howard. Howard for the Raiders to the 20 with a cutback and caught and dropped at about the 27-yard line. So Jeff George directs the Oakland offense after that 21-yard return by Desmond Howard. This is the third-rated offense in the NFL, tops in the passing department with that veteran line featuring Steve Wisniewski, the Pro Bowl performer, who had his problems in a loss against San Diego before the bye week. Jeff George is the quarterback, 14 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Kaufman, Fenner, Jett, Brown, and Dudley. Brown having a tremendous season, top receiver in the AFC. That's Brown in motion. First down give to Napoleon Kaufman, who bursts free. He's got a blocker in front. Kaufman to the sideline. He's to the 20, and he's bumped out of bounds just short of the 10-yard line. Ray Crockett saved the touchdown. Napoleon Kaufman was a non-factor in the loss to San Diego. They said he needs to touch the ball 25 times today. I guess so.
Well, 24 might like that, and they win this game. But watch what happens. A quick shot. Good lead block by Steve Wisniewski up inside, pulling around, and now